It is Mr. Funky Punts. We're scooping in a pot and just doubled up our first hand. It's Texas poker, baby. The best there is. We got pocket queens. We 3-bet out of position and get jammed into. There's around $400 in a stack. We snap call, run it twice, and we drill it and scoop the entire thing. So as I'm reorganizing my chips, we look down at 10 of clubs, 9 of hearts in the small blind. We throw in the 15 bucks saying gamble, gamble, and this is going to be an enormous hand, and why we love Texas and why you should play in Texas. We're going 4 ways to a flop with a marginal hand, and it comes 10 of clubs, 3 of diamonds, 4 of diamonds. It checks to the original razor on the button, an OMC, but in Texas, they're a different breed out here, man. He bets 25 and everybody calls. The turn is the 6 of clubs. We check to the button again. He bets 75. We dive into the tank right now because we're trying to figure out if this is a profitable call or a punty call. 5-7 and 2-5 got there, but I don't think any of my opponents would be limping calling this $15 bet with that specific hand, so we're not too worried about that. I think our top pair is good, and many draws are being chased, so I think a call is profitable here, even though we're out of position. Ends up going 3 ways this time. Only one person folds, and we go to the river, which is the ace of clubs. I think this is a blank only if they were chasing the ace high flush draw. We check to the button. He jams for $245 OMC, but I know in Texas they're willing to bluff. We go into the tank. We have Gil to our left, a talented player. He knows the Texas environment, and I know that if I fold, he's probably going to snap call with a lower pair, and I think if I call, he'll end up folding. So put in the call. If he ends up calling as well, I think we're going to scoop a massive pot. I think raising here doesn't make any sense. We're only getting called by better. I come to the conclusion that my 10 is essentially the nuts. We slide in the call. Gil looks at me and says, yes, he was going to call. So we show our 10 and the OMC.
You have me beat?
Mucks his cards. Nice hand, man. Gil said he had a 6. That if I fold, he was going to call with a 6. Oh my god, we're scooping a massive pot with a marginal hand. The only hand that we were losing to that made sense was an ace high flush draw that just binked on the river. We're so happy we made this call when we normally would fold this. We have the $5 button straddle on here at Poker House. We're going to call with King 9 offsuit against Gil, a very talented player who's willing to bluff. If we hit our top pair, he might be able to barrel on it. The flop comes beautiful. We hit our king. Gil c-bets as always, and we're going to raise here 2.5x to 125. After he calls this bet, we are not going to continue for another street of value. Comes the 8 of diamonds. We goes check, check, and then the jack of hearts peels, and he puts out a small bet of $30. Our hand's hovering over, ready to call a big bet, but he goes small, and I'm okay with that. So I put it down, but he ends up having aces. After reviewing this hand, I don't think I'd need a raise on this board texture. It's better for him to continue barreling than to value own myself against better kings or overpairs like he had. So we punt a couple $100. Now we look down at a premium pocket kings. We raise it up, and we're heads up against a wreck player. The flop comes 2 aces and a queen. All right, a little uncomfy, but we're still going to c-bet here, see where we're at. He does call. We end up checking it down all the way to the river, and he shows pocket 3s, and we scoop a tiny pot. Got a little bit of value, but I just didn't want to get too out of line against a possible trip ace hand. Now it's on to the bomb pot hand. You guys are not gonna fucking believe this. In Texas, every time there's a dealer change, we play a double board holdem bomb pot. We look down at 5, 9 of spades. The top board is 6, 7, 8 for the second nuts with 2 spades, gutter to the straight flush, and a flush draw. And on the bottom board, it's 2, 3, 4 with 2 spades. So we have 2 flush draws and an open-ended straight draw on the bottom and the second nuts on the top. We raise to 25. Gil to our left makes it $85. And we think the best option here to get him off a set 2 pair on one board is to jam it all in and take it down now. And if he does call, we're essentially so locked up. So we put him all in, and he snaps and shows us 10-9 for the higher straight. It bricks, and he wins with 10 high, and his higher straight beats us. He ends up taking $500 of profit away from us. Oh my god, this tilted me so much, and this will explain the next hand. I am a losing player, but I do love the game, and I know I'm progressing. Do not copy this. This is tilt effect. We look down at ace-5 offsuit. We raise it up to us. When it folds to us, we end up going heads up with a older gentleman with a shorter stack. So the flop comes 9 of clubs, 6 of clubs, 4 of diamonds. He checks to us. We c-bet small, and he jams. And we end up just snap calling with ace-high, thinking that we beat all of his king-high flush draws that might brick, and end up calling. So the run-out comes. Can we bink? The 7 of diamonds hits. Then the jack of spades hits on the river, and he shows us ace king of clubs for a better ace high. Just punting here, guys. Do not repeat. It's crazy to think about that 90% of poker players are losing players, and I am definitely one of them, but this is my journey. This is my vlog to figure out how to be a plus player, a profitable player, and not punt as much. Thanks, you guys, for joining me on this journey. Thank you for all the subscriptions. Ace, King offsuit. We raise, same player calls. We are out of position. The flop comes Jack of Hearts, 4 diamonds, Deuce of Spades, Rainbow, Brick. I still think we should c-bet here against all his range, so we do. 15 bucks. He snap calls, knowing how small the price is. The turn is the King of Hearts. Wonderful card, top. We're going to c-bet again for value now. We're going to make it 35. He calls. The river comes a 6. This is such a dry board, and I think jamming here will look like a bluff, and we can get all of his jack holdings and worst king holdings to snap calls. I'm going to induce him to call me. So we jam. He ends up calling with ace king, and we chop. Bro, god dang it. We're going to take something down soon. Just you wait. It's a nice little note I wanted to leave in here because I think these sort of plays will get me paid. And that's the biggest thing in poker is how do you make the most profit on every hand or lose the least amount in every hand. So we look down at ace king of clubs on the button straddle. The straddle here, we get last action. It's pretty interesting. It goes raise 35, 1 caller in between, and we're going to 3-bet this to $135. Gordy folds, and we end up going heads up against the same player again that we called down with ace 5 offsuit. The flop comes queen of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, jack of spades. He checks to us in position. I don't think we need to barrel on these cards. I think it's going to hit his calling range more than my raising range. Yes, we'll have queens and jacks sometimes, but I just don't think I need to get too crazy on this board. And if we do check back, he might sense weakness and jam a weaker ace-high flush draw that we have outkicked. Draw of some sort like king 10. We check, and we see a turn, which is the 3 of hearts, a brick. And then he decides to jam on this card. And I think if he wanted to get value from me, he would bet smaller. He's got such a short stack now after calling my $135 raise. He only has 100 behind. So when he jams it all in, I think we're going to be ahead most of the time. And he's going to be finding a bluff when we show weakness. So we put in the call, and the river's ace. He throws the cards towards my direction right in front of the camera. He has ace 10. We were right. We show him the ace king, and we scoop and get all of our money back that we lost with our ace 5 offsuit. Whew, what a sweat. Glad that we won that one. Trying my best to not punt. It's just in my blood. It's hard to resist it. So we have a couple more hands. We ended up chopping a pot with ace king offsuit. We flop the nut flush with an ace 4 of clubs open. We go for a spicy move. We check it all the way down to the river and then just jam against a short stack, hoping he has a club of some sort. Those are just profitable plays long term if we do run to the king club sometimes. And then we look at the rockets, baby. Pocket aces.
What are these right here, huh?
We raise it up, and nobody calls. Next hand I just want to share with you guys because I'm proud of myself, and I tend to make so many mistakes, and this is a mistake I did not do. We open king jack offsuit. We get raised by Gordy out of position, and this is just an open fold. I've been trying to really implement a strong open folding strategy and not getting sticky like I normally do, and I'm just proud of myself for these little victories. Might not sound crazy to you guys. You guys might be like, of course you should be folding that, but in the past, I would be calling this 100% of the time. We 3-bet deuce 7 offsuit on the button and show the table just to loosen everyone up and just let them know, like, hey, I don't always have it. Having lots of fun, man. What a great place to play poker. We look down at ace king of clubs again. Gordy, a very talented player, then 3-bets us to $75. So it goes 25, 3-bet to 75, and now it's back to us. We look at his stack. He has only around $400 in his stack. If I raise to 200 and he calls and we miss and we end up just having to jam into him, I think that it's just not worth it. So I end up putting him all in, and he ends up folding ace jack of diamonds. And then I realized I'm actually losing value here, knowing that he might have a weaker ace, and I'm a little upset about that, and I want to implement that into my game, because if we smash an ace high board against this player, he'll end up just bluffing his entire stack into us, or we'll just get max value with a disguised hand. Just want to share this one with you guys. But we do take it down after ripping it, and he does fold his ace jack of diamonds. All right, let the roasts begin. We have 9 8 of diamonds. We open to 25. Gordy then raises us to 80. A little bit larger sizing this time. I'm a little skeptical. I'm feeling sticky right now, and I want to call, and I do. Do not judge me for what happens in these next few seconds. The flop comes king 10 deuce rainbow. We have a backdoor straight and flush draw. I checked to Gordy. He bets small as always, 1/3 pot. We're going to get sticky here. We call. Turn is magical. the king of hearts. It's less likely I have a king and he has a king. So now I feel like our hand can be turned into a bluff. So I'm ready for a check raise. I check to Gordy. He checks back. The river is a miracle card. The 8 of clubs. I didn't want to see a 9 because some straight draws get there. So now we have showdown value, and we're essentially ready to call any size bet. So he decides to bet $25, and this puts me in the blender. Felt like value, but I have to call now that I hit my pair. And we put in the call, and he shows Queen Jack for a missed straight draw, and he's so upset. I'm sorry, Gordy. I'm just playing like a donkey.
You make me so sick.
I'm sorry. What do you mean?
I love you. With the flop there with the unders. Yes.
All right, next hand, we have Jack 9 of diamonds, one of my favorite hands in poker. We raise it up, and we get 3 bets by Gil to our left. Gil's a very polar player. He can have incredible hands here and even bad hands. Our strategy with this hand is to open fold it unless we're in position, and he flips over the king of hearts and then the 3 of hearts. He just 3-bet bluffed us. Here comes the hand of the vlog. We have ace of diamonds, 3 of hearts. The button, myself on the small blind, and the big blind are left. There's a straddle for $5. We throw in the 5. We're going to limp raise this hand as a bluff. Gil then raises to $30, and then the button calls the $30. So now we're going to implement our strategy. So we limp 3-bet to $135, and Gil snap calls. We make eye contact. I'm a little flabbergasted by the speed of the call, and we're going to a flop, and the button folds, so we're out of position with such a marginal hand, and it's not looking good, boys. One thing for sure is I got the action to go heads up where I'm more comfortable playing, so that's okay with me. The flop comes king, 10, 3, rainbow. We have bottom pair. We need to c-bet this for protection and for value against other ace highs. Make it 90, and he calls quickly. We're ready to give up after he calls this. I think he has a king or a 10 or a high pocket pair, and I don't think a bluff is going to get through here, so we are ready to give up, guys. He knows our MO. He knows that we want to go crazy on board textures like this until the turn is another 3. Oh my gosh. Wait, okay. How do we get max value here? I'm scrambling for an answer right now because I'm trying to figure out what would I do if I was bluffing. Gil has $500 in a stack. This is where I go into the tank for so long. Do I go for value? Do I make this 150? Is that too suspect? Because he essentially will call with any king or any 10. So we realize the bluffiest route is to jam it all in for over pot. I know it sounds wild and we might be losing out on profit, but we have so much time together, and he knows that I would do this with a bluffing line. So we do decide to put it all in for an over pot size bet. Gil's in his hero calling phase, so that's all we're hoping for is for max value. And he does. He snap calls. If you want to run it once or twice, I say twice. He's about to tell me he has a king, and I let him know I have a 3. So we run it twice, and we end up scooping a massive pot. This hand was weird. I don't think I should be rewarded for this play, but I guess a c-bet and hitting one of your outs is just one of the ways to get paid in poker. And if you guys want to chat about it in the RAZE Discord, you can join it in the link in the description. It's free, and we love to chat on there. I'm extremely proud of myself for finding the same line I would with a bluff, but in this hand, I did it for value. Even though it was against my friend Giljack Poker, we looked down at pocket 10s on the button. Gordy opens, and we 3-bet to $225. There's a couple colors in between him. That's why we went for the larger sizing. Everyone folds. We scoop another pot, and then we're going to rack it up and see how much money we made on this session. Wow, a profitable session? What's going on? This is supposed to be the Funky Punts channel. What's happening? So we were in for $500 and cashed out for $1,816 for $1,300 of profit. Whoa. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video.